What is up, guys? I do hope you're well. My name is Mark and today we're covering some more r/am I the butthole. If you want to skip the initial waffle, timestamps are in the description and in the timeline below, but a huge thank you for each and every one of you for being here. If you are new, please consider hitting that like, that subscribe and maybe that notification bell too. And don't forget you can follow us on podcasts and you can also join the channel either through YouTube membership or over on Patreon. And I gotta say a huge thank you to a new member yesterday over on Patreon. Thank you to Elliot for joining us. You're truly appreciated, as is everyone here who takes the time out of their day to watch my videos. I said yesterday in the community channel chat that I may have to cut down on some of my swearing and things like that, simply because just over 50% of my videos got demonetized, and I found out since why, and it's rumored like a similar channel has been reporting my videos for some reason. I don't know. I don't like YouTube drama. I'm not getting involved in that sort of stuff, so I will keep doing me and see where we go from here. Some of the videos have been brought back to as they were, but some of them are still the same. So we're just going to see how it goes, and I'm going to continue doing my thing for now, and we'll have to judge it video by video. But as always, thank you for all the support you've given me. It really means the world to me. And with that being said, let's get straight in to today's stories. Much love, guys. Our first story comes from CopyConnect 106. Am I the arsehole for telling my son that here's the reason me and his mother are getting divorced? I know upon reading the title alone, many of you would just call me an arsehole, and you might be right, but I want to explain myself first. My wife and I have been together when we first met in high school. We were able to maintain a long distance relationship throughout college and stayed true to each other. I truly thought we were inseparable. She gave birth to a boy 12 years ago, and since then, things changed drastically. My son unfortunately has behavioural problems, and it's been very difficult raising him. He throws temper tantrums, gets in trouble in school frequently, refuses to listen to my wife and I. As a result, my wife and I started having disagreements about how we should handle him, i.e. whether to punish more, let him get his anger out, etc. This created a wedge between us that kept getting wider. We both resorted to drinking more and wanting to be away from each other as much as possible to get some relief. We started having more arguments, and eventually it became so obvious that our marriage was deteriorating that family members started questioning it. So the topic of divorce came up, and we both decided to go through with it. When I first told my son about it, he cried endlessly, then started throwing fits about how unfair it was. I completely understand that a divorce is hard on any child, but the intensity of his fits kept growing. Since my wife and I are separated, not yet divorced, and because she can't tolerate our son that much, we agreed that he gets to spend most of the week with me, unfortunately. So I see him a lot and have to put up with his yelling far more than she does. Last Friday, he started asking if my wife and I forgave each other, and I told him that the divorce is happening, like it or not. He starts crying, and I got mad and told him, "Buddy, want to know why we're getting divorced? Because of you. We're happy before you were born, but you always act bad and get in trouble. Stop arguing with me when you caused it. You have nothing but yourself to blame." This devastated him, and I apologised, but I told him there was some truth to what I said. However, since then he's been more quiet and behaved. Even my wife, who was with him over the weekend, said he was much better. So yes, I think I am the arsehole for telling him he was the reason we're getting divorced, but in some ways I don't think I am, because maybe it was just something he needed to hear. Oh hell no, you are the arsehole in this story. Absolutely. It might be a bit strong, but I think you two sound like awful parents, and to put that on a child's shoulders, that they're the reason for their parents splitting up. You've also caused future mental issues, I guarantee you of that. Absolute arsehole in my opinion, but let's go down to the comments below to see what we can find. Miley30 says, the title was bad, but your explanation was worse. You failed as a parent by not getting him the help he needs and being able to support him as a parent. Now you're not just breaking up his home, but you're telling him it's his fault when the fault lies with you two adults. That's horrific. You're the arsehole. Time for Time says, you're the arsehole times 1000. Yes, the title is bad, but the content of the post isn't better. You're such an arsehole, I can't believe it. You getting divorced isn't his fault, it's not. He's your child. Children throw tantrums. They can also get in trouble at school and disagree with their parents. Parenting him is your job, and if you and your wife can't handle it, that's on you. And then quotes, because she can't tolerate our son that much, we agreed that she gets to spend most of the week with me, unfortunately. And then says, oh fuck off with that. That's your child. Your child is going through a major change in his life, and you say it's unfortunate he's spending most of his time with you. You're the arsehole for telling him divorce is his fault. You're the arsehole for telling him you and your wife were happy before he was born. You're the arsehole for failing him as a parent and being a shitty person. You're the arsehole for being glad he's calmer now after you destroyed him with your words. I feel so sorry for that kid. He has 2 horrible parents. I hope he has some other positive support in his life. And for the first story, I'm going to turn it to you guys. What do you guys think of this story? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to vote on the poll in the description for story 1. And our next story is from Change Your Name, Am I the Arsehole? Am I the arsehole for telling my boyfriend this isn't Game of Thrones and he doesn't need to continue his family legacy? I'm 24 female. My boyfriend and I have been dating a little over 2 years. I'm not pregnant, but we got on the subject of future children since we eventually want to marry and start a family together. He wants his first boy to have a family name, understandable, and for all the kids to take his last name since he's an only child and he wants to continue the family legacy. Yes, he said that almost verbatim. And yeah, I laughed a bit because it's a weird thing to say, to be honest. For the record, I already know I'm either going to hyphenate my name or not change it at all when we marry. No shame to women who change their last name, it's everyone's own choice. I'd like our kids to hyphenate too. My boyfriend didn't realise my policy extended to any kids that we might have. He's really adamant about continuing on his last name for some reason. It's an uncommon name, but he's not royalty or anything. After going in circles about legacy and bloodlines and the family name, I eventually told him it's 2020 and we don't live in Game of Thrones and legacy doesn't mean anything anymore. He's mad at me for disrespecting his family and saying it's just because I don't care about my family name doesn't mean he doesn't. According to my friends, he's being silly, but I probably could have been more nice about telling him no. Now I could potentially see in this one going both ways. I know it's not like Game of Thrones, you don't have to continue your name anymore or anything, but it's quite a sad thought, isn't it, that one day your surname could just die out and it'd be no more on this earth. Well, it will be with someone else, but you know, your direct surname is gone. It could die with you. It's quite a sad thought in my opinion anyway. So I could see how the boyfriend would be sad that, and he wants to continue it. But at the same time, I don't see what's wrong with a name being hyphenated either. It's like your name is evolving into something big, although some people disagree with that as well, because they can be like a pain in the ass on your driving license and all this kind of stuff. So I'm going to go with a potentially controversial everyone sucks here, simply because, you know, he wants his last name to be carried on and not even thinking about hers. She wants it hyphenated, but she's also laughing at his suggestion. And although it is quite funny saying it isn't Game of Thrones, I quite laughed at it. I like that one. But yes, that is my opinion. And let's go down to the comments below. Pizza Martini says, not the arsehole, I disagree with one of his main points. You do care about your family name, that's why you want to hyphenate your kids' names. He seemed to think that only men caring about their family name has any value. It's interesting that this is you disrespecting his family, but he doesn't mind how disrespectful he has been to you and your family. Gears Grinding says, as someone who had their parents' names hyphenated, please spare your kids. Pick one. My hyphenated name has caused me so much grief and inconvenience when it comes to IDs, records, transcripts, etc. due to length. It also kicks the issue down the road. Imagine 2 people with hyphenated names marry. You're going to quadruple hyphenate. Oh my god, I didn't even think of that. I can't just name change the last name either, because it would add another layer of complexity when I'm trying to get my paperwork together for insurance, loans, etc. My sister literally joke about how they get to escape the haste when they marry, but I'm stuck with it for life. Please don't hyphenate. I wish my parents hadn't almost on the daily. Oh, I didn't even think about that. 2 hyphenated people getting married one day. Imaginary Marsupial says, not the arsehole, ask him what exactly his family legacy is. Good point. And now I turn this one to you guys. What do you guys think of this story? Let me know in the comments below. And don't forget to vote on that poll in the description for story 2. Would you change your last name? Let me know. And our next story is from Platypus Many. Am I the arsehole for taking my husband off my health insurance after he was diagnosed with cancer? I know it sounds cruel, but hear me out. Just before the virus hit, my husband lost his business. He ran a restaurant with his friend, and they had to sell it at an embarrassing loss. My husband became really depressed after that, and started being very cold to me. He stayed up nights playing games and ignoring me. He also got too busy with his phone. It seemed like he was always texting someone. One day he had too much drink, and he passed out on the couch, with his message and chat history all out in the display. Sure enough, he was having a 5-year affair with a woman who was a frequent customer at his restaurant. I saw texts between them reminiscing about their sex life, him cribbing about our fights. He also disclosed some really personal things about my life to that woman. He was actually planning to serve me with divorce papers before he lost his business. I'm the kind of person who doesn't tolerate disrespect, so the next morning I sent our daughter to my parents and confronted him. He confessed and admitted that he wanted to leave. We broke the news to our daughter, who took it reasonably well, and I moved him to the guest bedroom. A couple of weeks into our separation, my husband's cancer returned. He was more aggressive this time, and we were looking at a very expensive treatment plan. I flat out told him to figure it out, and I told him that I would push for official separation ASAP and get him off my health insurance. He flipped out saying that I was being inhuman and that he wouldn't be able to afford the treatment. The way I see it, that is no longer my responsibility. Am I the arsehole for taking him off my health insurance? Edit, for people asking why I want to do this to my daughter. Before his diagnosis, her father made elaborate plans with his mistress/girlfriend to move to another country after our divorce to start afresh. Without a single thought for our daughter, I'm not taking anything away from her. Edit 2, for the people wondering about the legality of me removing him from my health insurance upon legal separation, that's completely legal in my jurisdiction. I've talked to my lawyer. Also, infidelity on his part will make it impossible for him to claim on my insurance. Wow, this is just like a sad post from all angles here for the wife, the daughter, and the father of having cancer, man. You know, you don't wish cancer on nobody. But, you know, he did make that choice. He did want the divorce. He was having a 5-year affair with someone else. You can't do that and then expect to be treated, you know, treated nicely after that. It would be interesting to know what type of cancer it was, but unfortunately it doesn't say that in this post. I'm going to say not the arsehole in this situation, but let's go down into the comments below to see what we can find. Jeep Naked says, not the arsehole. Once he wanted a divorce, his bills became his problem. I can't believe anyone here that said, you're the arsehole, would go into lifelong debt for their cheating ex. I think they are liars. Rose Glass says, not the arsehole. He's been using you all year. If his business hadn't failed, he would have served you with divorce papers already, and he would have been taken off your insurance plan months ago anyways. The fact that he didn't serve you and why he chose to stay was to use you financially, all the while keeping up his affair. You have zero obligation to him now. He made his bed, he must lie in it now. Let his mistress help him. Scaredy Cat says, not the arsehole. He wanted a divorce, he got it. You can't end a marriage and keep the benefits. Major Mischief says, not the arsehole. The entire post is saddening. As cold as it may seem, you need to prioritise yourself and your children right now. If that means you have to cut off every tie and shut the door, so be it. He made his bed, now he's laying in it. Calm as a bitch. Also, if I may, I think the question you, all of us really, should be asking is, can I live with this decision? It won't matter what anyone else in the world says, right, if you feel that it's wrong. Best of luck to you and yours. And I turn this one to you guys. What do you guys think of this story? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to vote on that poll in the description for story 3. And our next story is from Fufu Bunny La. Am I the arsehole to ask my friend, single mother, to do a paternity test on her son because I had suspicions my husband is the father? Messy, but I'll make this as short as possible. So one of my best friends had a kid 3 years ago. She said it was a one-night stand, and later the guy expressed no interest in being a dad, so she raised her son herself. No one has ever seen this guy, not even me. The issue is, this kid looks extremely like my husband, like to an insane degree. The hair colour, eyes, face, everything. He's even been out with my friend and her son, and people have mistaken him to being the dad before. Needless to say, for 3 years now, I've had my suspicions, but I haven't said anything. My husband is also close to my friend, and the timeline works out. We were all living almost in the same neighbourhood around the same time she got pregnant. Over the past year, it's really eaten at me. I see the resemblance growing more and more. It doesn't help that my friend refuses to show me a picture of her son's biological father, no matter how much I asked. It kept spiralling until I had a meltdown and confronted both of them, saying that I will pack up and leave if I don't see a paternity test. Long story short, my friend got a paternity test but said our friendship is over. The test says my husband isn't the father. I feel so ashamed to lose my friend, but I thought my husband would slightly understand, since he even sees the obvious resemblance between him and this kid. But he has moved out for the time being, and I'm worried this is the end of our marriage. Am I the arsehole for insisting on that test? I honestly feel like I had no other choice. The resemblance was unavoidable, and it was eating at me so much that no amount of therapy could help. I thought my husband would understand my fears, most of all my history with past cheating exes. Did I fuck up, and how badly? I know most people are going to jump straight away to "you're the arsehole" in it, and it's even in the comments below, but I kind of think it's eating you up, so you got to question it, right? I know it's not healthy, and there's obviously something deeper mental there that's making her do this. She said she's got cheating exes in the past that's making her do this, so she needs some sort of therapy first to begin with. But at the same time, she said no amount of therapy would help, so she didn't even go to therapy to try and fix this issue to begin with, because clearly her past is what's causing this right now. And the fact that OP left it until she actually exploded and said, look, and threatened them and said, look, if you don't give me a paternity test, I'm going to pack up and leave. And you've basically caused that on yourself now because they both left you. So, but in this case, I would go for "you are the arsehole" in this situation. It's a sad one though, it's a sad one. And I know I might get heat for that, but you know, I'm just trying to put myself in that person's shoes, and you saw someone, I know you can't accuse them like she has, but if you saw two people side by side and the kid looked exactly like the husband and you're like, hold on a second here. And I can imagine that would eat at you over time, but you need to have a proper conversation about it. I wouldn't know how to approach that, but you know, exploding doesn't help. But let's go down to the comments below to see what we can find. Toy Worker says, "You're the arsehole. Wait, so you thought your supposedly cheating husband would just casually comment on his love child like, oh gee honey, doesn't he look just like me, to his already paranoid wife? Why the fuck would he do that if he was actually guilty? Why the fuck would either of them indulge you if they actually cheated?" Lucia Pasiola says, huh, it'd be nice if we could just believe people who swear they weren't cheating, but that's just what cheaters do, so we can't. I don't even know where to begin judging this one. How would that even go? Babe, I know this is stupid, but the kid looks a lot like you, and I just can't get this idea out of my head. What should I do? A faithful spouse's response would say, I've always been faithful to you, and I hate to say it, but this sounds like your past experiences with cheating exes is messing with your head. If you pursue this, it's either going to ruin your friendship and strain our marriage. Please listen to me and figure out a way to get over it. A cheating spouse's response, I've always been faithful to you. I hate to say it, but this sounds like your past experiences with cheating ex is messing with your head. If you pursue this, it's going to ruin your friendship and strain our marriage. Please listen to me and figure a way to get over it. If you suspect cheating but can't prove it, what are you supposed to do? There's only two options I can think of, and are burn it all down, right or wrong, and just let it go, right or wrong. Once you start trying to prove it, accusing people of cheating and asking for evidence, etc., those friendships are pretty much trashed either way. If you're right, they're goddamn cheaters, and that's the end of the friendship. If you're wrong, congratulations, you've accused your friend of betraying you, and that's the end of the friendship. So I think you have to ask yourself, what's more important to you? Losing your friends but knowing for sure, or keeping your friends and living with a doubt? God is a gas says, I incline towards you're the arsehole, but would ask for more info. The situation is both sad and very confusing. I get that this child looked like your husband, but it is one hell of a leap to assuming unfaithfulness from him and betrayal from a close friend. My question, I guess, is did you have the reason to suspect him? Specifically, has he previously been unfaithful or given you solid reason to distrust him? If the answer is no, then you're the arsehole, I'm afraid, but it is really a sad situation. I recognise that you've lost a friend and now face the difficult challenge of reconciling with your husband, but you might need outside support, e.g. couples counselling, to help with that. Remember, Coombe Valley says, you're the arsehole, you need to get therapy OP, regardless of whether or not your marriage survives, and if I were your spouse, I don't think it would. This is obviously a pretty serious problem. And quotes, I thought my husband would slightly understand. You accused him of 1, having so little respect for your marriage that he'd run around, and 2, having so little loyalty to his own flesh and blood that he'd be a deadbeat dad. Seriously, I don't think I'd want to be around you again if you insulted me so terribly. And then the fact that you had a meltdown and confronted him, instead of approaching it calmly and saying that I know you had a problem and you're not sure how to work it out. And quotes, I feel I had no other choice. Every time you feel like that, question it. Blah de freaking blah says, going against the grain to give no one's an arsehole here. This thread is a classic case of outcome bias. A judgment of OP's decisions should only be dependent on the information that was available to OP when those decisions were made. So the outcome of the paternity test should not affect judgment, yet I guarantee all these you're the arseholes would be not the arseholes if the test came back positive. It's too bad that you can't move past this. In hindsight, it was just your paranoia. But hindsight is 2020. Go to any Reddit thread about suspected cheating, you'll find hundreds of comments telling you to trust your gut feelings and find the truth. Well, that's what you did, and now Reddit crucifies you for it. Typical. You made a decision that would ease your suspicions while ending your relationships, no matter the outcome. It's a tough trade, and now it's time to face the consequences of it. but hopefully it is better than being driven to wit's end by uncertainty. And finally, I turn it to you guys. What do you guys think of the story? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to vote on that poll in the description for story 4. Once again, guys, thank you for being here today. As I always say, the time out of your day is absolutely mind-blowing. You sit there, you comment on my videos, man, and it's I'm just so thankful. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And I will see you in the next one. Take care, guys. Much love to you.